From the WHIO Broadcast Center in high definition, this is News Center 7.
We'll go through day by day, missing him, crying every now and then.
A toddler's life taken way too soon. Tonight, that child is being remembered as a hero. Good evening, I'm Yuna Lee, in for Jenna Deary. 2-year-old Jasper Hollenbaugh was hit by a truck in late May on Randolph Street in Dayton. And today, News Center 7's Andy Sedlak was there when his family gathered to honor a legacy that they say has gone to help other children in need. Andy?
Yuna, Jasper's family tells us that he was an organ donor, and that's been to the benefit of at least 3 other children. And now tonight, Jasper's memory is being honored in places far beyond Dayton.
We had a borrowed angel sent up from up above, our precious gift from heaven that God gave us to love. He had a crooked smile, the eyes of baby blue. He was ours for just a while. Now he's back in heaven, made brand new.
Friends and family of 2-year-old Jasper Hollenbaugh read poems, lit candles, and decorated a tree on Randolph Street with stuffed animals. They gathered to remember a child they said was rambunctious.
He was 2 years old and didn't even take a nap in the daytime. He was always so hyper and crazy.
In late May, the toddler was hit by a truck. We were told the boy was in the street to greet family. He died on June 7th. But on Saturday, family described the boy as a hero. Dayton Children's Hospital told them that his organs were used to help other children.
Somebody got his heart. Another kid got his 2 kidneys because they're so small, so they had to use both of them. And somebody else got his corneas so they can see.
The family says everyone has been supportive, but they were moved by one gesture in particular. Angel Ryder, Jasper's godmother, has a friend serving in Afghanistan, and his sympathy has been powerful.
Where he's stationed at, they flew their flag at half-mast for Jasper and is being shipped all the way back to the family with a certificate for it so that we all have something of him to remember.
Well, Jasper's viewing will be on Monday at Newcomer Funeral Home in Kettering. Reporting live, Andy Sedlak, News Center 7.
The father of a teen shot and killed in his car speaks out for the first time. Devontae Rayford was found in a car that rolled to a stop in the yard of a home on Philbrun Lane in Trotwood Thursday. He had been shot several times, and his father, Richard, describes the emotions as they're prepared to bury their son.
First is shock, and then it's denial, and then it's sorrow, and then your heart is broken.
The parents spoke to us in the same room where his piano sits with the last piece he was working on still on display. Devontae would have graduated with the class of 2014 at Stivers School for the Arts.
He was extremely talented. Anything that he really wanted to do, or really had his heart set for doing, he could do. I mean, no problem. It hadn't really had a full effect, time to set in. Right now, I think we're still going through the grieving process, and I think at some point in time, you know, you miss his laugh, and you're missing.
At this point, police have not named any suspects. The investigation is ongoing. New information on a Dayton police involved in an accident this morning. We just learned the female officer has been released from the hospital. The officer was responding to a call this morning, drove through a green light at the intersection of Ludlow and Washington. Another car ran a red light, slamming into the cruiser. That driver was cited. Well, it's a gorgeous Saturday, and we want to get our first check of our forecast with Storm Center 7 meteorologist Erica Colora. Hope tomorrow is the same, Erica?
Not so much, Yuna. We did enjoy one day. At least we got one day out of 2, and that's pretty much all we can ask for. Unfortunately, Father's Day tomorrow. A lot of you are wondering when you can get that tea time in. Well, it's going to be a tricky forecast. We're not tracking anything right now on live Doppler 7 HD radar. I actually just tracked the last few sprinkles out of northeastern Logan County, but there are more showers and thunderstorms on the way. I'll be tracking those overnight and through the day tomorrow, unfortunately, but we will dodge some. We're at 70 degrees in Hamilton, 77 in Vandalia, 70 in Minster and Centerville. In those lower 70s, we'll talk about how warm we'll be despite the rain tomorrow and when the best time to get outside will be for your Sunday afternoon coming up in just a bit. Yuna?
All right, Erica, thank you. And some lawmakers hope Ohio will join dozens of other states banning public access to handgun license records. The General Assembly is considering a measure that would ban journalists from obtaining those records. And right now, Ohio's existing law allows reporters to view names, birth dates, and county of residents who have concealed carry permits. Right now, though, nearly 30 states blocked access to those records to public and media. New at 11 tonight, a gunfire, or a fire rather, engulfs a building near downtown Indianapolis, prompting the evacuation of a 5-block area. It rattles surrounding neighborhoods with exploding propane tanks. About 100 firefighters are working to control this blaze. The building houses tire and pallet recycling businesses and storage facilities, and firefighters are expected to remain at the scene throughout the night, working to douse those flames. For the second time in 2 days, a deadly explosion rocks the Louisiana chemical plant. Tonight, investigators are on the scene at CF Industries in Donaldsonville, about 60 miles from New Orleans. They believe a worker died when a piece of equipment ruptured during offloading for nitrogen from a truck. This explosion comes on the heels of an accident Thursday at a plant just 10 miles away. There, 2 people died. 100 others were hurt. Well, if you drive a GM, you may want to listen up. New tonight, General Motors is recalling 193,000 SUVs. Trailblazers, Envoys, Rainiers, and Saab 997X and Isuzu Ascender from the model years 2006 and 2007 are included in this. GM warns of a faulty circuit board that could spark a fire. If you own one of these SUVs, they ask you to park it until it's fixed. GM will notify you if your SUV needs repairs. New evidence tonight that meth is making a comeback in Ohio. Statewide drug busts are increasing after a sharp decline between 2005 and 2007. Since October of 2012, there have been 575 meth labs discovered in the state. That 9-month trend is on pace to eclipse the number found in a 12-month period in 2011 and 2012. Authorities link the resurgence to a so-called shake and bake method in which meth is made in 32-ounce plastic pop bottles. Investigators are looking into a vacant house that goes up in flames and trying to figure out if it's arson. Crews rushed to the blaze on Brant Street in Dayton this morning, and they were able to get the flames under control quickly, but not before it damaged the back of the house. Firefighters have reason to believe the fire may have been intentionally set.
We were told that the police arrested some squatters several days ago. So, yeah, people had been living in it. It's under investigation, clearly suspicious. Electricity had already been cut to the house.
Firefighters say they're still trying to figure out exactly how that fire started. New information about a 5-hour-long standoff this morning. Police were able to put a man in handcuffs. Trotwood police shut down Wolf Road and evacuated neighbors. This started when a woman called police and said her boyfriend had hit her face several times with a barrel of a shotgun. The SWAT team fired tear gas into that house, which is how they finally got the suspect out.
And upon exiting the house, he took off running. He was again deployed with a beanbag shotgun by SWAT crews, taken down and placed into custody immediately within one house of coming out of his.
We've lived here 18 years, and this is the first time something major like this has been going on.
The suspect is Damon Smith Sr. He's facing a felonious assault charge right now, but police say they'll be adding more charges soon. The Hamilton Police Department and Butler County Coroner's Office are investigating a deadly stabbing. Hamilton police and fire units responded to Monument Avenue a little after 11 last night for a reported stabbing. The victim is identified as 56-year-old Diana Ross of Cincinnati. She was taken to Fort Hamilton Hospital, where she was pronounced dead. A suspect has not yet been named. A developing story tonight, a scare on board an EgyptAir flight bound for New York. A threatening note was found on board, and British fighter jets swooped in to escort the plane to the nearest airport. Erica Ferrari reports.
An EgyptAir flight headed from Cairo to New York Saturday was diverted to Scotland after a threatening note was discovered about 3 hours into the trip. A producer for BBC traveling with her small daughter found the note in the bathroom.
I found this note by the sink, basically saying I'll set this plane on fire with the seat number 46D written on it.
The producer said the threat was scrawled on a napkin in sloppy handwriting. She gave it to the flight crew.
I told them if the pencil is still in the bathroom, make sure to keep the pencil in case, they can get any fingerprints or anything off of it.
The crew immediately locked the bathroom and the plane was diverted to Glasgow's Prestwick Airport. Emergency crews surrounded the plane once it landed, and investigators interviewed more than 300 passengers on board.
And as you can imagine, it's a pretty tense situation. There's babies on board who are all getting very frustrated.
At New York's John F. Kennedy Airport, anxious family members waited for word. This man's mother, wife, and children were on the flight.
Of course I'm scared. I'm worried about my family, man.
Police searched the plane once passengers were allowed off. Investigators are still trying to determine who wrote the note. In New York, Erica Ferrari, News Center 7.
No word yet on when passengers will finally make it back to New York. The flight is listed as having an indefinite delay. Still to come, all aboard. A Bradford tradition is on track to making history. We'll explain. Plus, if you plan on having a child, we'll tell you about new research comparing hospital and home births and which they find are having fewer complications.